When a show like that comes, which has so much history, emotion, there's people already know so much. How do you know the people making it have the right intent? Not just the people, what's written has the right intent, people who will make it, people, how will it be promoted? Do you consider all this?
Especially a project that's come with 2 or 3 years of research prior to coming to me. It's coming through the thoughts of an ex-Air Force man. But the one question that I asked before saying yes was, did Alka ma'am approve this? Whether you call it an homage, whether you call it a historic retelling, you're talking about a martyred soldier. So I wanted to make sure that his depiction is approved by his wife.
Now, when the right intentions meet the right history, right? You're retelling a time in history, then that you cannot go wrong, right? The mistakes happen here where you choose a certain history or you choose a certain intention. When these two are online, then honestly, like for me, it was a dream come true.
I was very, very excited to work with this team, especially with Oni. I'm a huge admirer of his integrity as a storyteller and his craft, and he's just amazing to work with. And I'm very, very happy I got to work with him.
I got a script was probably the 15th or the 12th draft for them. You know what I mean? Because they've done so much of research on this entire thing and writing, rewriting and everything like that. And yet they told me this is only the 12th draft and it's all work in progress, so don't this thing, but do read it.
I think they're still writing it.
And
That's why 2 episodes.
That's why I've seen only 4.
That's why you only seen 4.
so my interaction with him was amazing at that point of time on that particular script. So I said, this guy will definitely make a good show.
Tell me about that particular scene about where you're training them with bikes. Did you know all this? Did you all I didn't know that this is how one could do that.
I was hugely inspired by Band of Brothers,
Right.
which is one of my favorite pieces of art created about boys coming together and becoming men in the under the fog of war.
Correct.
And in that, there's a lot of stuff that touches upon this, but specifically to the Indian Air Force, we didn't know any of this.
Okay.
Because nobody's ever made it before. So there are some books, like I've read books in which I've read about these practice maneuvers, I've read about the way they did close formation flying.
Right.
And also, none of it needed our expertise because we had very senior people from the Air Force literally on our shoulders, breathing down, saying, no, yes, wrong, behave yourself. All of this was, Chow sir was on set with us all the time.
Wow, that's so cool. Is he
Chow
here?
sir is very strict. He's still, even now, he's now teaching me acting. So we're reaching the next level of our relationship.
Guys, welcome to Bollywood Hungama. Very, very excited to interview all of you, especially after watching 4 episodes.
We are so envious of you.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to take you a little back. Siddharth, I'll start with you. When a show like that comes, which has so much history, emotion, there's people already know so much. How do you know the people making it have the right intent? Not just the people, what's written has the right intent, people who will make it, people, how will it be promoted? Do you consider all this?
The answer is a hard yes.
Okay.
But I believe these discussions happen very instinctively and very quickly.
Right.
I'm very specific about the work I do. I haven't done as much as, some others. But when a project comes to me, especially a project that's come with 2 or 3 years of research prior to coming to me, and it's coming through the thoughts of an ex-Air Force man, Kushal Srivastava, who's also one of the creators of the show. It's coming from Abhijit Parmar, whose work I really, really enjoyed in long form. And Oni Sen, who I really admire and I wanted to work with. So when it comes with that, and I read the first draft that they sent me, and they told me that A, it's Netflix, and B, it's the Indian Air Force giving us a no-holds-barred pass to
Make
whatever we need.
Okay.
So this was one of the easiest things to say yes to, because I could already gauge the intent of the people making it.
Wow.
So I don't have to wait to see 4 episodes like you. Before I went to set, I went to set because I was very confident about the intent behind the show.
Yeah.
But the one question that I asked before saying yes was, did Alka ma'am approve this? Because you're whether you call it an homage, whether you call it a historic retelling, you're talking about a martyred soldier. So I wanted to make sure that his depiction is approved by his wife.
Absolutely, very
And
important.
so then all of it was a very, very large green flag for me.
Wow.
And since that day till today, I've shared with my colleagues how surprised sometimes I am to wonder why and how this happened.
Wow.
And I'm very grateful that I'm sitting here today and talking about Operation Safed Sagar.
Amazing. Same question to you guys as well. What are the questions that you ask them when?
I mean, full disclosure, Oni is my super senior from college,
Okay.
right? So he comes, he goes there every year to teach a course. I was in a different department, but I was aware of him and his work from the time that I was studying, right? So when I heard his name and when I read the script, I just knew that there is an aesthetic connect more than anything else, That is very important. Like, to gauge the story, you gauge the teller, right?
Correct.
Now, when the right intentions meet the right history, right? You're retelling a time in history, then that you cannot go wrong, right? The mistakes happen here where you choose a certain history or you choose a certain intention. When these two are online, then honestly, like for me, it was a dream come true.
Nice. Yeah, same thing. When ultimately these shows are sold with your faces, names, all of you. How do you make sure that it's never misused?
It can't be, because you choose a story and you choose the people you want to collaborate with. That eventually is a choice you make, an active choice you make. So I just worked with Matchbox. We'd done IC814 with Netflix.
Right.
I'm very proud of that show. And when I met Oni, he told me he was working on this and he really wanted me to be a part of it. And then when I read the scenes, and I feel like there's a lot that you can tell about intention and integrity in the way a scene is drafted.
True.
And the people involved define that too, right? So I was very, very excited to work with this team, especially with Oni, because he's someone we've actually tried to make a film and hopefully we'll make it together someday. I'm a huge admirer of his integrity as a storyteller and his craft, and he's just amazing to work with. And I'm very, very happy I got to work with him.
Nice. Jimmy, you've done so many genres which we have enjoyed, and I know over the years, we've been chatting, talking, right from Jhankar Beats ke time se we've been doing this. Same thing to you, Jimmy, that one is that this is such a heroic role. Why will anyone say no to it? But again, what is that one more thing that makes you like, I will do this?
I think when you read a script, it doesn't mostly it doesn't happen like overnight that you read a script and you say, okay, fine, I'm doing it. And next morning the papers are signed and things are locked. And it doesn't happen like that. It happens, it goes through, it's a process. I think the first time I got a script was probably the 15th or the 12th draft for them. You know what I mean? Because they've done so much of research on this entire thing and writing, rewriting and everything like that. And yet they told me this is only the 12th draft and it's all work in progress. So don't this thing, but do read it.
I think they're still writing it.
And
That's why 2 episodes.
That's why I've seen only 4.
That's why you only seen 4.
so then what happens is that you read it and you discuss with them and everything like that, but they say that the fresh draft will be ready by next month. The shooting only begins after 1 year or whatever.
Wow.
So then after a few months, the next draft comes and then you have a discussion. But like Dia was saying, I knew Oni from before. I think I met him for the first time through her only.
Okay.
Ages back when he was making this film and lovely script. I hope it's made at some point. And so my interaction with him was amazing at that point of time on that particular script. So I said, this guy is and plus I'd watched his, Asur.
Asur was fantastic.
And
Fantastic, yeah.
so the thing was that I knew that this guy will definitely make a good show. Then there was all the other people involved in the show, the creators, to Matchbox, to everybody. I knew that they are doing some really good work. And at the end of the day, everybody sells you a story.
Correct. Yeah.
but very few people actually end up keeping their part of the bargain.
Ah,
So these
so
are
true.
one of those guys who did more than what they said.
Nice. That's so nice. Yeah.
They said, this is technically, this is how we are going to shoot it. This is how we are planning to do it. So at my stage in life, a person says, yeah, I've heard that before, but it's a great story. I'll do it.
I'll do it. Right.
But when I started shooting for it, I realized these guys are going all guns blazing, boss. These guys are going all out.
Wow.
And the way they created that, cockpit and the way they did things which have never been done before. And I said, these guys are like going all out.
Nice, nice. Right, I've been watching all of y'all since y'all started, but how does it feel like y'all are the big boys now? Y'all are training younger boys. That time has passed very fast. How did that feel?
No, I tested for Dali. Yeah, but you finish your thoughts so I can fully understand where you're going. with
No. The thing is, it's great to see y'all. Y'all are the big boys training the young guys. How does that feel? It's such a thing with authority that and y'all do it. You both are. You'll have this calm. You'll are composed. How does one get that? Has that come with time? Has that come with experience in life?
I think it's come from the writing, because I mean, how we are in real life is very different from what we are being told to play on screen.
Sure.
But having said that, there are parts of Operation Safed Sagar where I've seen Tony sir, Ahuja sir, and all the Golden Arrows all be of the same generation,
Right.
even though they're from different age groups.
Okay.
Because when it comes to a mission, you're one of the parts in a moving part of a moving cog in a wheel. So there's no, I'm an older cog, I've been spinning for longer than you have. I think it's just about understanding the energy of the moment. And we've been on a base for many, many months to see how this status quo plays out. And the Air Force has a very specifically different status quo from the other armed forces as well. And that was something I took, a lot from, and it took a lot of strength from.
Right.
So the way we've played Ahuja sir has a lot to do with his actions more than him or his age or anything else.
Right.
The context is coming without age. I don't know if that
Correct.
makes sense.
Sure,
Because I
sure,
think
yeah.
soldiers in general are under the carpet of kind of a common identity and a common energy.
Correct.
So it's
That
very
cuts
different.
across age groups,
And the
yeah.
senior junior thing is very, very different in the Air Force.
Okay.
It's very different. And we've seen Tony sir with the Golden Arrows today. They still have that same energy.
Nice.
They still have it, yeah.
Right. Tell me about, that particular scene about where you're training them with bikes. Did you know all this? Did you all, I didn't know that this is how one could do that. Tell me about how did all that shape up?
No, there's specific things I've read quite a bit. I'm a history buff, so I've done a bit of research on war and operations and military operations. In that, with the Air Force, there's many things from chair flying and other things that we've read it in books. I was usually inspired by Band of Brothers,
Right.
which is one of my favorite pieces of art created about boys coming together and becoming men in the under the fog of war.
Correct.
And in that, there's a lot of stuff that touches upon this. But specifically to the Indian Air Force, we didn't know any of this.
Okay.
Because nobody's ever made it before. So there are some books, like I've read books in which I've read about these practice maneuvers. I've read about the way they did close formation flying.
Right.
And it was, when it came to us, it came with so much research.
Amazing.
It was very, very technically sound. And also, none of it needed our expertise because we had very senior people from the Air Force literally on our shoulders, breathing down, saying, no, yes, wrong, behave yourself. All of this was, Chow sir was on set with us all the time.
Wow, that's so cool. Is he
Chow
here?
sir is very strict. He's still, even now, he's now teaching me acting. So we are reaching the next level of our relationship.
Right. What did you all not know about Air Force and the war also that you all found out this time? Was there anything on the set that you all thought?
I mean, there's so many things that we discovered, right? One, that this was the highest mission ever performed,
Yeah.
that this was a squadron that only kind of took photographs.
Yeah.
And then you realize how imminent that requirement is. You don't really think about how important it is to have that bird's eye perspective.
Yeah.
And how life-threatening that can be and how challenging that can be. The fact that there was something called golden arrows that existed, who led this mission, that the fact that it's the youngest officers who led this mission. So I discovered and learnt a lot about the Kargil War and an aspect of the war that I never knew before. And I think that the audience is going to do pretty much the same, which is what makes the story so unique and so riveting. But I think, Rohit, for me, like, I was most enchanted by the lives behind the force, right? The force at home, the
Such an important role
sisterhood,
they play,
the women, their community, the children, how they navigate these extraordinary circumstances, what they mean to each other, what kind of relationships they have with their spouses, what kind of equality. You know, I grew up in Hyderabad, and Hyderabad has an Air Force base, and I actually had a classmate in school who was an Air Force kid. And I used to see them, and I would always think, यार ये class है यार इन लोगों में, ये बहुत मतलब कुछ है इनमें, ये और सिर्फ वर्दी की बात नहीं है, वो plain clothes में भी होता है, तो you know the way they carry themselves, the way they conduct themselves, उनमें इतनी तहजीब होती है, तमीज़ होती है, वो नाचते भी बड़ा अच्छा है, वो गाते भी बड़े अच्छे हैं. So there's so many things that you feel awe for, but I think the story gave us the opportunity to really consider what it must be to live that life. It may look very glamorous and very beautiful and very exciting and very aspirational from the outside, but to be in it and feel it and live with that onerous truth every day is hard.
Nice and true, and so many of their lives and issues are just relationship issues, like we would have. Someone is learning driving, someone is learning something. These are really cool things. Jimmy, tell me about the war scenes, the cockpit scenes, like you said, the way the cockpit was made. We would never know these stories.
So normally when we, I've done a few Air Force films before. So earlier on we had these cockpits where the lighting was moved around
manually.
Cockpit would remain in the same position. A few people down below would shake it up for it to look like it's this thing. They got their simulator, which obviously had a hydraulic suspension movement wherein it was connected to the computer programmed along with the lighting. So the day lighting
it
was
looks
different.
like that.
Yeah.
There was a cockpit on a stand like that.
Oh my God! Wow.
And it feels very real.
And it would do all the banking maneuvers.
Next one.
Dip
Can I
and
tell
climb.
you something? Let him finish his
Huh.
story, and I'll tell you, because did you sit in one of the aircrafts when you were there? I'm sure you had.
Yeah.
We got a chance to just sit,
Oh wow!
to climb
Oh my God.
into.
So
So
scary.
I got a chance to sit in a MiG and a Sukhoi.
That's amazing.
I shot in a MiG a lot, yeah.
That's amazing.
I
That's
can't
so
tell you
cool.
what
Wow.
I felt. It was
Oh, I didn't know all this.
something.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
something else.
Because I
So
know
all
one
of our
scene-
taxi procedures, tarmac to hangar to tarmac, is with canopy closed inside actual MiG-21s.
Wow.
And
that
we
is-
were given the entire fleet that got retired recently.
This is before
So
they
we had all
retired.
the old ladies with us, and so we had shots where me and Jimmy would be walking towards the mission, where there's a very famous dialogue that happens there, where we had 6 or 7 MiGs in sequence
correct.
lined behind us.
That's like
It was very emotional for us, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, you were saying about
Yeah, so it was basically now the movements in the thing, the bankings and everything was programmed from before, scene-wise. So if I am flying that particular day, I go into the cockpit and all the cameras are set up and the unit is down below. We are up in the air and whatever in the studio. And then I have to rehearse with the movements. So if it's after 2 seconds, the thing is going to bank left. So I have to do the entire scene in one go.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if
So this is what he's talking about. You're inside. In 3, 2, 1, it'll do this.
Full thing.
If you don't, you're the one who's doing the action. You're the one with the comms in your ear. So you have to speak dialogue in the scene, speak to ATC,
Kya baat.
and then you do 3, 2, 1, finish your dialogue and you go. If you don't go, it will go and you'll hit your head.
Yeah, right.
And we were doing this for hours and hours every day. And then when you do a dip, it's this. When you do a climb, it's this. And you're controlling the rudder. You're doing the instruction and the comms and the scene. Everything is programmed.
Right.
If it's a 4-page scene, the whole 4-page scene is programmed. So every time you make a mistake, it takes 45 minutes to reset the whole thing.
So even if you don't make a mistake, if the timing is set between the 4 dialogues, there has to be a certain speed between this banking and you got back.
Correct.
You have to say your lines within that much time, otherwise the time is gone.
And if you make a mistake with
Then
the
you have to
dialogue
redo
also,
it again.
the whole thing is gone.
You have to redo it again. You have to wait for it to finish all its actions
Wow.
and then come back to normal.
Right.
And then you restart all over again.
And you're wearing a full
That was
helmet,
amazing
visor,
fun, yeah.
oxygen, G-suit, everything. And you're inside a MiG cockpit, which is smaller than this chair.
Yeah.
And not
So right now I can do this,
Yeah.
right? I can do whatever I want. In a MiG cockpit, this is you.
Wow.
So if you want to look back in a MiG cockpit, you do this.
Okay.
You
Wow.
can't look back. It's
You know, no
insane.
wonder it's great quality. What I saw, no wonder you all have definitely set a benchmark of how these things should be made. You know, internationally we hear stories of Tom Cruise said
actually flew.
yeah, everyone
Maverick.
should learn flying. So you do understand the importance of.
So I can tell you, we did enough training to be theoretically capable of being in the
Okay.
air on sorties.
Next is you all have to just fly. now.
Yeah, if Oni had given us an off day, we were
have
allowed
been
to go
flying
on sorties.
also.
So he and I had permission to sortie. We did not get it. We didn't go it because we didn't have time.
Acha.
And each time a sortie
yeah.
happens, it costs the Indian Air Force 50 to 60 lakhs. That's a sortie.
Wow. This is incredible. These are great
No,
stories.
but there is a standard and a kind of landmark depiction here
Yeah.
that we've never seen before, and
before.
simply because the Air Force, it's an Air Force story, and it's an Air Force story backed by the Air Force.
Yeah, correct.
And that
That's
makes
important.
all the difference.
They'll make sure there's no room left.
No, they're very
Absolutely.
clear in the
Also
instructions. Tony
using-
says, don't do anything stupid.
Also
Don't do anything
using
stupid, okay, I
the
said promise.
technology that is available right now
Uh-huh.
to
That also
recreate those sequences. Otherwise, it looks fake. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it's great that we had this kind of technology to tell this story after 27 years.
Right.
And, which
Great.
becomes
I'll
more
go back and
believable.
watch 4
Apparently,
episodes.
every time these pilots fly a MiG-26, when they land, they come out of the cockpit. They are 2 kilos.
It's like an F1. You drive an
They-
F1 car, you
they
lose
lose
a lot of weight,
2 kilos
right?
of weight.
Wow, my God.
Because these are not air-conditioned aircraft.
Yeah, the air conditioning came a decade after
And
this.
they're in a very confined
that time it was
space.
not
I'm
there.
just giving you context for
Yeah, I
what
know.
in reality it must mean.
Mm.
And when we were filming, these guys were doing these sequences, the surface temperature was hitting 50 degrees.
My God, yeah.
So, but I have to, it's so remarkable.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, with Dhali, Dhali and I were in a tarmac sequence in our MiGs, and we were with canopy down, and we had one shot. We couldn't take the shot. They said, sorry, we have to break for half an hour because there's an air show.
Yeah.
So we said, what do you mean break for half an hour? Shut the canopy. So Dhali and I looked up, and a full Sukhoi air show happened from above us.
What are you saying?
And we just kept saying, what is going on?
Yeah.
So like,
And the other boys didn't talk to us for a day because they were like, why did this not happen?
Yeah,
when
when
we
we
did
were
our
doing it.
procedures? I
Wow,
was like,
wow.
"Yeah, sorry, boys.
such great experiences y'all will have for life. Great guys, you know that's why no wonder it looks this quality. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Can't wait
Thank
to
you.
watch the 4 more, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2 more.
2 more. 6
Yeah.
episodes.
Two more.
Okay.